in their NFL regular season head-to-head matchups. With this win, Shanahan is now 11 wins. Actually, is 11 wins? Yeah, 11-7. 11-7 record. Actually, now 12. 12. I stand corrected. 12 wins. 12 wins for Kyle versus 7 wins for Sean the regular season. Now, Kyle did lose to Sean in the Super Bowl that sent the Rams to SoFi Stadium to play the Cincinnati Bengals in a really great Super Bowl that actually featured if you remember, the halftime show was the 50th anniversary of rap. So it was really a neat historic contest, but I digress. What I loved about this contest is that Kyle Shanahan went into his Bill Walsh bag of tricks. It's like he went into the basement of the 49er headquarters, went through the old film of the Bill Walsh offense, and polished off the most effective plays against the Rams for that particular defense in history. He started out with what looked like a double screen to one screen to either side, but what happens is that the tight end sits down for a beat and then runs over the middle of the court. Sure enough, the tight end was the target and picked up a first down. Kyle Shanahan made it easy for Mac Jones. Mac Jones, remember, was a national champion, starred Alabama, smoked a cigar in the locker room, and was headed to, it's true, and it was headed to, and it is funny because by all rights, I mean, I wasn't, if you follow me, you know that I didn't believe he should have been picked that high in the NFL draft. And how he performed proved what I was saying. He had to be in a particular type of system and process to excel. In Alabama, he was. Nick Saban gave him that. But in New England and Jacksonville, he wasn't. Finally, he gets to Kyle, whose system is very much like what was ran at Alabama, or I think more appropriately, Alabama's is more like what Kyle learned. And he learned process. He learned organization. He learned how to be an effective big game quarterback again, all over again. That's what Mac Jones learned. And it showed tonight. This was the best coaching job, not the best, but one of the best, because you have to go back through Kyle's history, including, for example, you would have to include Kyle Shanahan's work as offensive coordinator for the Falcons, engineering a 28-3 lead. Yeah, I know he blew it in the Super Bowl, but let's face it, they got a 28-3 lead against the Patriots with some really innovative play calling before they just blew it on that famous 3rd and 8 in the third quarter. But I digress. Kyle made up for that tonight. This sets the tone for the 49ers. I would be shocked if the Niners were not in the playoffs after this stretch. All these injuries, top players like Nick Bosa out, and yet they pulled off the win against the favored Rams. Kyle was mad that the 49ers were not favored. They shouldn't have been. We had an infirmary up in the locker room. Doctors everywhere, IVs, all that. I'm kidding, all right? But my point is, this is an outstanding signature win for Kyle Shanahan. He sunned, and that's why I use that photograph. He sunned. Yeah, this photograph. You didn't see the front of it, folks. It's this photograph right here that I put up. This is the one, all right? This is it. There it is, okay? Now, who's that? Right? Okay? That's going around the internet. I didn't create that. It was passed to me, and I'll leave it at that. So I think it's about appropriate. And hey, so the war continues. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark NFL News by Zenny62.com. Thank you.